Hello and good afternoon, good evening, and in some places, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and friends. And indeed, I have friends here with me today, ladies and gentlemen, and one friend, one of my, so I consider to be a family of my, like a brother from another. Asante will not be with us tonight. He is doing some family stuff, but so he'll return on Saturday for the Gaming Circle podcast at 10 a.m. But of course, he'll return here next week for Wednesday's show, as he always does. But we have a very special guest. I think he's a content creator that has taken on the YouTube community by storm. He's one of my favorite podcasts to watch. Not only does he knock it out of the park when he does it solo, which is unbelievable, but my God, does he have a cast of and a crew for WBG with Joey and Sean and Ray Ray. My brother from another, Dirk Riggedy. What's up, dude, man? Thanks so much for joining.
Oh, thank you, man. Hey, thanks for having me. Always enjoy being here, man. Got some stuff to talk about, man. Got a few good things that's out there. Very interesting stuff on the Xbox side. So yeah, let's get to it, man. Appreciate it.
It's funny. You and I were having a conversation in the DM about you keep mentioning that the Xbox dudes that walked away, right? Are going to potentially try and come back, and I don't think the community is going to allow it. To be honest with you, the Xbox people that stayed even during some of the more difficult times in recent months, mind you, are the ones that I think are going to see great success. And you and I have been talking about it. We have seen significant growth in our channels, not only through just clicks and views, but actually subs. So yeah, one of the topics we're going to get into in the second half of the show, folks, is the excitement that seems to have come back to Xbox. I was telling the guys in the green room before we went live, I had put out a video this morning, a little after 9, regarding some of the conversation that Daniel J. McGee, Umbra, Jamie Moran, and I had yesterday, and that is one of my fastest videos to 2K of the entire year so far. I mean, it has exploded. Now, is it going to get 50,000 views? It's unlikely, but it has really rocketed, and I think people are excited for Xbox. And we're gonna have fun with today's conversation. But Hargeet Channi, the Pony Killer, as he's known, what's up, dude? How's everything? Very interesting on Sunday. I have to applaud you. I have to applaud Kay. For the listen. At the end of the day, you guys did what was necessary. You guys handled yourself, and then there was a point, and I've been there, Hargeet, where sometimes you try to allow, and it doesn't work. So again, shout out to you and Kay, and of course Web Day for handling it the way you did. But how you feeling, man? Welcome back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not so happy about that whole incident. I'm not trying to go against you or anything, but it was just the podcast was going awry. It just had to be stopped. Anyway. Moving on from that, I'm doing all right. Still plenty of cool things to talk about. Wish we had actually talked more about the actual stuff that's happening. There's a lot of cool things to discuss as far as what's actually happening, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? So we can speculate and figure out what things they have to look at, and there'll be all sorts of cool things happening. And as you're seeing, the community is coming back. I'll slightly disagree with you on the success factor for them is to actually bring back people, right? They want to bring back people, right? So maybe that is what they want to do, and maybe there's going to be a little territorial crap going on, but as far as like what Xbox wants to do, I think what they're looking to do is say, let's bring them back, let's bring people to Xbox and make them enthusiastic about coming back to the platform, and and that's just across the board, right? They're looking for millions of players to come back over to this side, and maybe bring more players, right? And there's always an opportunity when new players are coming in. That's always happening. There are more people, being born, growing up, trying to play games, and you have an opportunity to attract that customer base. I think they're going to keep trying to do that as well, but they want to bring back the old customers, I'm sure. So interesting stuff, but it'll be an interesting dialogue. We can get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it is now Asha's job to fix what is broken. How broken is it? I mean, I don't have I can't give you a percentage. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a mathematician. What I can say, and Dirt, you've said this before, is that the brand is damaged. And it was damaged for a lot of reasons. There were decisions that were made, especially when it comes to first party games, one of the things I continue to drive home, and again, this is not even a topic. This is just kind of just BS in here. We're going to, obviously segue into the topics we're going to get into. But one of the things that I look at that I think a lot of people do, and maybe a lot of people in the chat do as well, and maybe you guys will, chime in and give us, give me your thoughts. But there was a stretch of the Xbox One era that, Xbox didn't have a lot of first party studios, and they didn't have a lot of first party games. They like clearly hung their hats on some timed exclusivity, which is something that Sony has really taken to heart, right? That's something that they're doing. And they're doing it more now because very much like the Xbox One days, they don't have a lot of first party. Now, this year, they're going to have a few for sure, but in the last couple of years, it hasn't been a lot. And it's just, I always wonder, what if Xbox would have taken their ball and went home off the court and kept those first party exclusives strictly to PC and Xbox. And again, we all know that ABK is what kind of mucked that up, so to speak. When they spent $80 billion, Papa Microsoft wanted their money, and they were going to have to do things that were uncomfortable. And unfortunately, the uncomfortable things that they did damaged the brand. And now Asha and the team, or the newly built team, along with some veterans, are going to have to figure out how to get these people back. But Dirt, I'll go to you first. When you look at what could have been, right? If they would have, because their first party lineup, let's call a spade here, folks. Their first party roadmap, going all the way back to 2023 and moving through this year, next year, and the year after, is unbelievable. Like, they have literally so many games. They're at a point where they just don't know where to put them. So again, we're going to get into, the excitement of Xbox, the community coming back. But could you imagine if they would have made all of those games exclusive and you could only play those games on PC and Xbox? That'd have been something.
Yeah, man, that would have been that would have been pretty good for the brand. But like you guys said, Boom, certain things hurt the brand. I see some guys in the chat now saying keep exclusives dead. I mean, listen, man, when you talk about, like, this is the word I've been using a lot the last few weeks, perception. The perception of the brand has been pretty bad, like, the last couple of years. To be honest, man, like, we're pro Xbox content creators, and I can't sit up here and lie and say, oh man, no, man, the brand is as strong as ever. Now, maybe their content is, but the perception of the brand was damaged. Sorry, guys in the chat, don't want to hear it, but it is what it is, right? So, and I said this the other day on WBG. If everything was still great, why would they bring Asha in to do the same exact thing as Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond?
No, the answer is the reason why they brought new management in and they changed some things is because what was there wasn't working.
100%, right? 100%. We heard that Phil was supposed to retire later this year. Something changed. Maybe they said, man, Phil, maybe they asked him, Phil, man, you might as well retire now. Let's go retire now. Push it up a little bit. Ask Sarah to leave. But we can't sit up here and constantly say, oh no, everything is fine. Man, the content is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And going back to your question, if it was exclusives, I mean, I can't say it would have hurt the brand, right? Yeah. I think it would have helped the brand, but what's happening now is just I think some things needed to change. And I'm a Phil Spencer fan, absolutely Phil Spencer fan.
Yeah.
But the previous regime, lately, like the last couple of years, it just hurt the brand. I remember the 4 games, right? That speech Phil said, the 4 games, and he said, as long as it doesn't damage the brand. I know you guys remember when he said those exact words, but it did damage the brand. It damaged the perception of the brand. I told a story on my podcast where a couple of my coworkers who are casuals, one of my coworkers, he literally only played Gears of War. I'm not exaggerating. Gears of War horde mode. That's all he plays.
Oh wow.
He heard that Xbox is putting their games on PlayStation.
Wow.
And that's all he plays. I have another coworker whose son was an hardcore Xbox fan. And he moved to PlayStation. He said, "Yeah, Dad, they're putting their games on PlayStation." So it hurt the brand. But to your initial question, I think that would have benefited it, like having Xbox and PC exclusives like the old days. That would have definitely benefited. So I know people say, "Oh, we don't want to talk about exclusives," but I'm sorry, guys. The exclusives is something we're bringing up because maybe there are some rumors about it, right? There's a lot of rumors about it. I know if you've heard some things, Boom, you heard some things, Hargeet. And I just think this is something that needs to be done because think about what happened today. Or was it yesterday when they announced Starfield? We knew Starfield was going to PlayStation. We've known for a couple years.
Yep.
We've known for a couple years. As soon as it was officially announced, all hell broke loose.
Yeah, it was social media was a bit of a
guys clipping me, clipping you, clipping every pro Xbox channel from videos from 3-4 years ago.
I saw that. Yeah.
Like there was a video I did in 2021.
Wow.
They clipped it. I mean, you know, whatever. But so that just goes to show you how things are. So, but like I said, it's your initial question. I do think that would have definitely helped the brand.
Well, it was definitely sold consoles. If there wasn't and again, you know, this is a perfect storm, Hargeet, in the worst way possible. Because you had Xbox pull back on making consoles for one reason or another. You know, whether it be to you know, forward their plan of this is an Xbox, whether it be to, you know, they're losing money on the console, no one's buying it, and RAM prices are now high. They had to, you know, raise the price a couple of times. Whatever it was. But could you just imagine, and again, folks, this is not a real topic. This is just kind of just, you know, shooting the breeze, kind of as we know, we'll let people file in. And we're going to get into the really big topics of the show. But, you know, Hargeet, when you look at the year they're about to have, right? And again, we're just going to go with what has been announced. We're not going to talk about the possibility of this one or that one. Maybe it shows up as a surprise. No, just honestly what we know. This year alone, we're getting Gears, Halo, Forza, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, Kilm, and Fable. I mean, that is
fantastic.
Look, I've said this multiple times. I challenge any anti-Xbox, you know, podcast player, you know, gamer, media outlet to go and look and find me a year that Sony put out that many first-party games. You're not going to find it. Now, granted, I've always congratulated and gave Sony their props for, you know, the 2018, 19, and 20 years. That 3 block of years was strong for their first party, but it's not like this one. So, Hargeet, my hypothetical, ridiculous question is, what if those games would have been exclusive? Because I think things would be a little bit different if they were.
I don't know that any given game is so let's take them one by one. So Halo, for instance, is not going to be it's not a new game, right? This is a remaster. So don't expect that to drive anything because, you know, people aren't going to, you know, buy a new Xbox to play an old game. So that's cool, whatever. But that's the same as Gears Reloaded. I think it was last year. Great, you did that, but that's not driving anything, right? You know, we have E-Day. That could be an interesting one, right? Just depending on how that goes. It certainly was one of the best trailers in a while. So it was pretty good when they revealed that, right? So we'll see. You know, hopefully that will be a big game. Fable's looking good so far. Will it be enough to attract customers if it was exclusive? Maybe. I don't know, right? So Indiana Jones was exclusive for a short period. Unfortunately, before it came out or after it came, no, before it came out, they announced that the PlayStation version was coming out, right? Which kind of took away its thunder. I think that would have been one of those exclusives that really could have driven some sales. A lot of the other games just never seem to, like, for some reason or another, attract a lot of customers. I don't know why that is. Like, you take Avowed, for instance, or South of Midnight or something like that, and then it did middling. It didn't do that great. Like, and Outer Worlds 2 was multi-plat. It still didn't sell that well, right? So
Right.
just kind of the way it is, right? And so would that have driven console sales? Probably not. You need things that are very sort of zeitgeisty, and I think Indie was one of those kind of games. You could potentially see E-Day being one of them. It looks like it could be very cool, right? But it would be based on nostalgia, right? So, and hopefully that's enough, right? But we'll see. Fable, kind of in the same realm, but it also has this newness to it, right? It's from a whole different studio, and it's like a lot of time before the last one and this one. So it might have some potential to just attract new customers, and maybe it would be a good one if it were. But yeah, I'm just taking those as they come. Call of Duty, of course, it's going to be everywhere. It doesn't matter. It's Call of Duty, right? So that one you can just put to the side.
Yeah.
Kiln isn't going to be the one that's going to drive people to Xbox, even though I don't know if it actually has a release for anybody else.
Yeah, they announced it's April 23rd, I think.
Yeah, and is that
coming the release date? Well, E-Day or Kiln?
Kiln. Does that?
Kiln was it has the release date dropped today.
Okay, cool. And is that coming out on other platforms than Xbox, or is it still Xbox?
I think it's just Xbox. I mean, that's what I saw.
I think it's just Xbox for now, right? So I'm sure it'll come to other ones. Like the one that makes sense for me for that one is bring it to Switch, right? It just makes sense to put it there. But either way, put that aside. Like, so, but again, I don't think that's going to push the envelope either. So you just have to look at these things as they are. Would exclusivity change this calculus? Well, they had a time where they had exclusive, and that didn't really change anything. They even started like the Xbox One gen with some pretty good exclusives, and that didn't change anything. They went and got Tomb Raider, and that didn't change anything. So I don't know. I think from my perspective, a lot of it is how you market yourself, how you position yourself. If you convince people that you have the stuff that people want, they'll come to the platform. A lot of people get fooled by just marketing, right? Games that go multi-plat, but PlayStation will say, this is the place to play it, exclusively something here. And it'll be like, this one mission is exclusive. But it doesn't matter. They can say some exclusivity. And therefore, they get to take the ownership of that game, and everybody else doesn't have it. Like a perfect example is Hogwarts had one mission that was exclusive to
PlayStation. Yeah,
they had one capability that was like maybe exclusive, and they're like they had that word exclusive, right? And yet it was literally everywhere. Switch had it, PC had it, Xbox had it, everybody had it, right? Nobody, it was everywhere. Doesn't matter. People associated the game with PlayStation. It's marketing. It's all about how you convince people the place to be, the place to play, the cool place to be is your platform. And that's the part that was lacking. They didn't really push that. When you went back to like the 360 era or even the Xbox OG era, they went after their competition. Now it's kind of more of a kumbaya, and that's not enough. You really do have, because they haven't stopped. They kind of continue that pattern. And if you're going to continue that pattern, you have to, like they are, then you have to kind of respond. And I think that's been the big lacking here. So is exclusives alone going to do it? There's one exclusive that I'll say it will do it, but I don't know if it will ever happen. The answer is GTA. You just take that away from PlayStation. Good luck. It'll absolutely sell consoles. No way around it. It's gonna sell consoles. Are they gonna do that? I have very little faith that they have the balls to do it. But if they really wanted to do this, if they really wanted to go play that game, go take some money out of big Microsoft, daddy Microsoft bank and say, I'm going to spend this much money here and I'm taking that game. Yeah, done. You win. Like, there's just no way around it. You win. That's just going to happen. GTA is going to sell. It's going to sell. and it will absolutely sell consoles. So that would be the game.
that would be the well. I guess if they acquired Take-Two, like that was a conversation.
That'd be another way to go, right?
That, but they wouldn't want to lose the money they're going to make. Like that. Look, I said this before, and we're gonna segue into one of the big topics of the show. But that game is going to break every conceivable record in entertainment.
Easily,
not just in video games. It is going to break every conceivable record in music, film, TV, and gaming. There is not going to be a single record left standing after GTA releases.
Well,
and mind you,
because Minecraft has set it so high as to number of sales, it might be.
Yeah, I mean
hard
that's
to
true.
Beat. We'll see, right? It may be at the end of it might beat it, but they're up to like 350, something like that.
It's ridiculous.
It's very, very high.
Well, you know what, gentlemen? What I want to do.
Gamer by Choice just put in. Hargeet, are you saying spend them out of business? Yes.
Yeah, that's a gentleman still here, known as Matt Booty, is the one that actually said that. So he's still working with Xbox. As a matter of fact, he's the number 2 for Asha. So
yep. Hey, this is such an interesting conversation. I've been like looking at the chat the whole time that we've been talking. And, my homie in the chat, Max City, he's like, don't bring exclusives back. I saw somebody else say, don't bring exclusives back. Yeah, that's fine, bro. But check this out. PlayStation is triple downing on exclusivity. Yep. They're triple downing on their brand, their console. Right. I understand Xbox has way more content. They own 2 massive publishers. They have a lot more games than PlayStation does. But it goes to this. Hargeet, you was talking about GTA 6, right?
Be back in 1 second.
We know that game is going to do absolutely incredible. And guess what? It's going to sell PlayStation 5s. I don't know. It might sell a few Xboxes. But the reason I say that is because the perception of the brand, right? Y'all say exclusives won't do nothing. They never did anything. Well, that's not all the way true, but if you can go back to early Xbox One generation, what hurt Xbox wasn't their exclusives. It was what happened with the reveal of the Xbox One, right? That's what hurt Xbox, because Xbox had way better exclusives. Look at the community, not just in our little community. I know it was a small bubble, but look at the Xbox community early in the Xbox One gen and look at it now. There was a huge difference. There were a lot more cohesion with the Xbox community. Like Boom was a part of it.
Yep.
There's a big difference. I don't think you guys are looking at. I mean, it's cool to disagree, but to say we don't need any exclusives, bro. Have you guys been around here the last couple of years? I don't know where you guys have been, bro.
You know what's interesting, Dirt and Hargeet. So when Hargeet, when you were talking. And I listen, folks. Again, we're here, so we're gonna have fun with the conversation. You specifically said one game, meaning that one game to bring people in or back, right? And the one thing I credit Sony for was, even though they had what I listen, I like their games. I know a lot of people don't. I'm not going to fight you on it if you do, right? If you don't like their games, I understand it, but that's why I have a PS5, because I like those types of games. What they did good in that 3-year block of 18, 19, and 20 was they had these big tentpole games. Mm-hmm. They had medium-sized games, and they had a bunch of third-party exclusives that were just on their console. So instead of trying to get the one game to get the people in, they did almost like a tier system. They got you in for the big banger, but while you were there, they had a bunch of smaller games. They had a bunch of weirder games. They had some third-party exclusives that you can only get on PlayStation. And they did that for 3 years, and they did it well. And that's why they sold so many consoles. Now, getting back to Xbox this particular year, again, maybe Halo isn't going to get someone to buy an Xbox, right? but maybe Gears would. And while they were there, they'd be like, well, I used to play Halo back in the days. I'm going to stay. And then, of course, something bigger it comes out like, oh, I remember Fable on the OG Xbox. Oh, my God, there's a new one? And you see what I'm saying? Like, it didn't have to be just the one to get you in. But what I want to do, gentlemen and chat, I want to segue into what I believe is a turn that's starting to happen in the games community. Like I mentioned before, I had put out a video this morning, and in the year of 2026, it is the fastest to 2,000 views I've ever had this year. Now, has that happened before? Sure, absolutely. I put out videos that I've gotten, 20K, views on. But this particular video was about exclusivity potentially coming back. And it was a conversation that we had yesterday. It was, of course, myself. It was Jamie Moran. We had Daniel J. McGee, who works with Umbra on the Fix on Thursdays. Umbra came in on the back end. And, we were talking about the new things Asha is going to be doing. And the fact that when she, in only her second day on the job, when someone said, hey, what about exclusives? She responded by saying, we hear you. Now, that's not a declaration of all exclusives coming back, but the fact that she responded to it got a lot of people excited. And Dirt, I'm going to go to you first, because you've been literally talking about this almost every week since she has taken over for Phil Spencer. Now, she's been in the job for about 3.5 weeks. I saw a lot of pictures. I've talked to a lot of my friends who are at GDC, and she's doing exactly what you would hope that she would do. She is taking pictures. She is handshaking with the community. She's interacting. That's a great start on how you bring the community back. But Dirt, more specifically, I know there are people in the chat that don't like the idea or past. Like you were like me and like you and like Hargeet, and we're like, no exclusives. If they get rid of it, they're gonna. But we've come to accept it. We don't like it, and we never liked it.
Right.
But we were like, well, what could we do? Like, we're not running the company, so exclusives are gone. We're just gonna keep playing our games.
Right.
But I know, even though there are a lot of people in the chat that are like, yeah, I don't need exclusives anymore. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what exclusivity looks like. What I can say definitively is the thought of it has gotten people excited about Xbox. I'm just saying that is a catalyst. Is it the only thing? Well, of course not. I gave you the list of games. They have so many incredible experiences happening, and again, I have to repeat myself because it's for context, folks. Let's shift that. You take Call of Duty out, take Kilm out. Okay, fine, right? You might have Clockwork Revolution. I keep saying that. I think that's going to show up this year because NXL keeps talking about it, right? So you never know. But if you just look at the big four that are releasing, think about this for a second. If you're an X-bot like I am, right? If you're a bot, your soul is intertwined with these titles. Halo, Gears, Forza, right? They used to break our balls with that all the time. That's all you got is Halo, Gears, and Forza. And you'd get those in odd different years. You're getting every single one of those freaking games in 1 year. Like, that is just crazy. And on top of that, you're getting a new Fable. You're getting a rebooted Fable. If that's the only games that come out from first party this year, that's one per quarter. That is what Matt Booty said they wanted to do. That would be a W. But we know that there are more games happening. And you know something, Dirt? It's not just the games. It's the new console, not the PC that the games media tries to tell you that it is. It's a console. It's going to be the most powerful console. It potentially is going to have a jump on PlayStation 6 by 2 freaking years. And Game Pass continues. Did you see the March list? Holy shit. Like, are you kidding me? This is back to back to back months. That all of that combined, and of course the new leadership that are going to be doing some different things, maybe some different old things, Dirt. I think all of that is why people are excited for Xbox, but I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said most of it. People, you know what? I always tell guys, as a pro Xbox content creator, our channel goes up and down, right? The last year, 2025, it was crap, right? Because there was I mean, I'm just being real, right? There was so much negativity surrounding the brand, specifically last year. I mean, it started in 2024, but last year was really bad, from the layoffs to the price increases, Game Pass price increases. They don't give a damn about the consoles anymore. You know, it goes up and down. So when it comes to what has been happening these past few weeks, boom, like we seen it instantly.
Yep.
There was some type of, what's the word I'm looking for? Resurgence in the Xbox
cataclysm,
community,
if you will.
Yeah, it was something going on where I saw it immediately. Like, as soon as they announced that, you know, Phil Spencer's retiring, Sarah Bond's gone, and they announced Asha Sharma, I saw that reflect my numbers immediately, right? So what is that telling me? There's interest, and it wasn't a fluke. Every video the last few weeks have been more than last year, you know, because there's some excitement surrounding the brand, right? Like you said, you know, about the exclusives, when like somebody mentioned exclusive and she said, "We hear you." Yes, that's not saying that exclusives are coming back, but it's having people thinking now, like, hey, like, what does she mean by that? You know, some people say, like Max City, bro, he said exclusives had never did anything for Xbox. Oh my God. What, bro, the 360 generation, you know what, listen, I tell you right now, exclusives don't mean what they used to. I would be the first one to say that, because a lot of PlayStation fans or console owners have bought that console, you know, for casual games. I would be the first to say exclusives don't move the needle like they used to. But at the same time, you still need some exclusives for your brand. And by boom, you just said it. We accepted it, but we never liked it.
No,
I didn't
none
like
of us
it.
did. None of us
I
did.
accepted it, but I didn't like it at all. But there's something going on, man, where people are talking. It's also made the PlayStation fanboys more aggressive.
Yes.
They've become more aggressive. Like, I get clipped, but I really got clipped a lot the last few weeks, right?
They love clipping me, dude. Like,
oh yeah, they love clipping me.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So
I might be number one on the leaderboards.
Yeah, they clip you a lot. They do. They clip you a lot. So they become more aggressive, and that tells me one thing: they're paying attention. Like, oh, what's going on? Not saying that they're, you know, that they think Xbox is going to take over, but it's not going to be like it was the last couple of years where Xbox, you know, I mean, we still have these few more games, you know, like Starfield dropped on there. We have South of Midnight coming over there. So they're going to talk their talk a little bit longer. But what's happening is there's a change in the community, and it's positive. People are excited about Project Helix.
Yep.
People are excited about the new regime. What will they do? And going back to what I said about 15 minutes ago, unless you're stupid, Asha is not in that position to do the exact same thing as Phil and Sarah. She's not. So some changes are happening. We don't know what they are yet, right? We don't know the changes she's going to bring yet. But one thing I've noticed, if you paid attention to GDC, one word that they said a lot of, that they got criticized in the past for not saying this word a lot: Xbox.
Yep.
They said the word Xbox a lot at GDC. You know, I know people want to say it's a PC, man, but it's a console, right? It's a console, right? So that's showing me that there's some concern on the other side. Like, hey, you know, what's going to happen? And excuse me, and it's also showing me there's some excitement for the brand that we haven't had hell since the ABK deal. Because I remember doing the ABK days, numbers were through the roof.
They were crazy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Most
Now,
I've ever had ever.
We still haven't got back up to those numbers yet.
Right.
But that just shows you there was a lot of excitement towards the brand during the ABK days, 2023. The crazy numbers, but this is a start. So we'll see what happens, man.
Look, you've made mention of this. I'm a transparent caster, right? Like when I have concerns, I put them out on Front Street. You've said this before. I've said this before. You know, you mentioned the ABK days, right? I had on a regular basis 1,100 people in the chat. Like that was no BS. Like I would sit back and be like, what is happening?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like, 1,100 in a chat for a channel my size. You'd see, RDX get those numbers, right? You'd see, some of the bigger, much bigger channels get those numbers. But it was crazy because people were energized. Now, do I think at some point we're ever going to get back to it? Well, look, I honestly don't know, but I think that if you just, again, this is not console warring. Let's just take a step back and just look at the playing field, right? The playing field is right now, the only thing that Sony themselves could hang their hat on is the fact that they've sold a ridiculous amount of consoles, which they're probably going to break by, I would probably say by the summer, 100 million consoles. And that's a really big deal for the company because they've done that with the PS1, the PS2. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I think they got
I don't think the PS3.
PS3 was at 85 or something like that.
It never got to with the PS3 for their reasons, right? But PS4, they did it. They're going to do it with the PS5. So that's big for the company. That's big for the brand. Be able to say you sold another 100 million console generation. That's a really big deal. But outside of that, they don't really have a lot to hang their hat on, right? Their first party bangers are going to be one a year if you're lucky. And the last couple of years, they just haven't been great. This year, Wolverine is going to sell a lot. There's no doubt about it because Marvel has a lot going on, and Wolverine and Logan, Logan is a very popular character, so it's gonna do well.
Right.
But for the most part, if you just look at what Xbox is doing, despite being panned by the games media and being trolled upon by the gaming community as dead, they have the best streaming service for your buck. And granted, yes, I did not like they shot themselves in the foot with a 50% increase because I know it was only $10, and I'm not being facetious, but it was still 50%, opposed to $20. They shot themselves in the foot for that. And that was just bad management. They shouldn't have done it, and they paid for it, right? But even I'm not making excuses, folks, but even with the $30 price point, which I don't know about you, I don't pay full price. I haven't paid full price since inception, and you shouldn't either. There are places like ENEBA who we're partnered with. The links are in the chat. Go to ENEBA, you can get it cheap. You can go to Loaded, which used to be CD Keys. There are a lot of places you can get it cheap. So if you really want to be a good consumer, you can find it cheaper. But they have the best streaming service. They have an incredible roadmap of first-party games, and they have new hardware launching next year. This is why people are excited. This is why we're starting. That's why we're having this conversation. But Hargeet, I want to bring you in, man, because the one thing that's smart about you, well, there's many things smart about you, but the tip of spear intelligence for you is you don't do social media. Much like Mrs. Boom, she doesn't even have a thumbprint, not a singular print on anything social media. She just stays in the background, does her thing. Well, you don't do social media, but you do a lot of podcasts, and you do see people in the chat. And I think it's safe to say that you do understand that everything that has happened just this year, let's keep it, tight in a buck, as the kids like to say. Let's just talk about 2026. Well, they started out with a strong Game Pass helping in January. Of course, you had the Developer Direct, which showed off Fable, which of course showed off Forza Horizon. There's rumors of Shadow drops potentially happening with Fallout. You have all the first-party games we already went through. You have the announcement of new hardware. There is a rumor, a rumbling, a thought, a theory of some sort of exclusivity coming back. It's got people talking. It's got people excited. Hardware, June showcases around the corner. I think it's safe to say that Xbox might be back, even though they're supposed to be dead and nobody wants to give them credit for what they've done. I think they've been doing a really good job. And with the new leadership, look, we literally talked about it yesterday. The definition of insanity, ladies and gentlemen, is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different outcome. That is why they did not keep Phil and they did not keep Sarah and they brought in Asha. Now, is she the answer? I don't know. She's got to do the job. Right. She has to be given the opportunity to fail. Just the way she's handled herself so far, I don't think that's the case. And honestly, as a bot, that has me crazy excited.
Absolutely.
What about you, Hargeet?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we had this question on with Fonz yesterday of what would the cost be of the consoles, and one thought is that where we were with Phil and Sarah, we kind of understood they were not going to take a hit, and I just threw up my hands and said, I don't know where we are anymore, because I don't know that Asha does that. I have no idea, because we just go on the assumptions of what we understand, but they just had this massive shakeup. And like you said, Dirt, do you do that when you think everything's great? Or do you do that and say, no, we're changing things? Right. And so I have no idea. Right. The assumption was the new console comes out. It will not be subsidized. You will pay full price. Is that really the case anymore? I don't know. I really don't know. They could come out and say, you know what? We're going to undersell what freaking PlayStation comes out at $600. We'll sell it for $500. We'll take the hit. They could do it. They have deep pockets. They could literally do it. It's up to them.
Yeah.
They could do whatever they want. The question is, do they have the guts to do it?
Yeah.
They used to. They used to. They would take whatever hit. They're like, we are going to kill those guys. That was their answer. That was what they used to be like. That's not what they have been under Phil. Phil was much more kumbaya. Shout out to Phil. But that may be totally different now. I don't know the answer to that. Until, as we've seen, right, until Asha comes out and tells us by doing what her actual way is to bring Xbox back, I don't know what's going to happen. All sorts of things could happen. Exclusivity could happen. They could cut the prices, right? They've been increasing prices. They're like, well, you know what? We don't have to do that. We have enough money in the bank. We could just cut the prices. Take the Series S this holiday when GTA is coming out and all these people need to buy a new gen console to play GTA, and say $150 with GTA. You think that's going to go off the shelves? Or do you want to spend $600 with GTA and a PS5, or $150? Which one do you want?
Yeah,
right.
Could
they do that? They've done it before. They were selling it for $150. Like what was it? 2 years into the gen, they were selling it for $150.
Yeah.
They could do it again. It's up to them, right? They could just say, hey, we'll just take the hit. We want to get consoles out there. Sure. Most players just want to play the game. They're not going to sit there and say, oh, there were more pixels on this version of the Series X it had. They don't care. Does the game run? It's going to be on the Series S, right? I don't know where they are right now. I have no idea. And that's the thing that's exciting, is we have no idea at this point what Xbox is going to be. Right? It's like, so where is it going to go? Are they going to go back to the old style? Or are they going to continue the current style? Some hybrid thereof? Or something entirely new? We don't know. Right? And this is why it becomes exciting. Now everybody wants to what is going on? Well, how are they going to do? And we're trying to glean the same things you are. Where the heck are they going? We hear all sorts of rumors, but nothing substantial yet, except beyond Matt Booty, the next thing that she did was what? Hire new marketing.
Yes.
Get rid of this is an Xbox.
Yep. Overnight. Right? By the way, it was vanished with no words.
Right? And you're sitting there going, okay, and double down. We're bringing the console. Double down. Right? We're bringing the console.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are the actions so far. Okay. Let's see where this goes. This could be very interesting. We have no idea where this is.
Very interesting.
right? And so like there's potentials for all sorts of things. They could say, you know what, we'll take key franchises that make sense and put them on other platforms, much like what PlayStation does. We're going to take key franchises, live games, we'll put them on PC day and date, but we might pull back on other games and say they're just here. You want to play them, you have to come here. Okay, maybe they take that and say that's how the system works right now. We're going to meet the player where they are. Did she say that? I think she did say that, didn't she?
She did.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
So
It's she said a lot of things, and what wind up happening, Hargeet, and I want to just throw this out there, and I hand you back the mic. Instead of listening to what she had to say, they were concerned about her gamer score. Right? That was the whole thing, where she actually had to come out and address it and say, yeah, you know, I share this with my family, we play together, but I shouldn't have, you know, I should have just made it separate. The fact that she even had to respond to that, it was ridiculous, but it's just, you know, they paid no attention, Hargeet, to what she said, and she said very interesting, very powerful things. You got to remember this, when she was doing all this talking, this was her first and second day on the job, man.
Yep.
It's
So look, they have a lot of history that they can go look at, right? Where things went well, where things did not go well. They can analyze that. Microsoft is a very data-driven company. You can see, oh, we did this thing, it panned out. We did that thing, it failed miserably. They can look at those things and see where it goes, right? To the point of brand damage, I think they fully recognize that happened, obviously, right? That's why you have a leadership change. So what are they doing with that, and how do they want to respond? The reason the regulators around the world are terrified of Microsoft isn't because Xbox was winning the console wars or the platform. It was because they have deep pockets, and they have massive industry reach. So they could, if they really wanted to play the game, they could do all sorts of things. The problem has been so far they haven't. From a customer perspective, that might not be cool. That's a good and bad thing from an industry perspective. That might be great for competition in some ways, maybe not so good in other ways, because it's not really pushing your competition to care, right? PlayStation's taken it as they've waved the white flag, and they're now about to charge you dynamic pricing, which is just insane, right? Insane. And that's what happens when you have no competition, because they took away the digital access for anybody else. They're the ones who own it, and they can define how you will pay based on your behavior. Holy crap, is that crazy? But that's what you get when you have no competition, right? So in some ways, terrible. So in a lot of ways, it's good for Microsoft to push, but this is why they also have to keep a step back and say, well, okay, we're not going too far, guys. Regulators, don't come after us, because unfortunately, that's the world they live in, right? But why not push a little bit? Just push a little bit, right? And this is it. Right now, they also have a very friendly administration in the White House. I'm just saying, this is a time to go strike some gold, and go do things. But whatever, like, it's up to them to take advantage of the situations they've been dealt. And if they want to go do something cool, you got the opportunity. There must have been a reason they said, we're not even going to wait till the end of the year. We're doing this today, right? There must have been something in their head. They're like, no, we need a strategy shift. We don't want this brand to go down the way it's going. We need something to change, and let's push that now, right? And they still have Phil, by the way. He's still there.
Yes, he's there until I think October.
Yeah, he's in an advisory role. He's basically still retiring at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But they did the swaparoo. That's done, right? But he's still there. That's cool. So you still get all that knowledge that he still brings to the table. She can learn from that and set the vision, set the strategy before they really roll out the next gen, which hasn't happened yet. You just got the sort of the developer world of it. The actual announce of what Project Helix is actually going to be, we haven't gotten that yet, right? They get to define that for us. They get to tell us what that's going to be. This is just all up in the air now, because when it was the previous administration, we had an idea, we had the vision, we knew where it was going, right? That's all up in the air now. That's all thrown out, right? The famous saying that she had there, the plan is the plan. until it's not the plan.
So it's not the plan.
so we don't know. And this is why it's exciting, right? Something is suddenly just totally shifted. Now take the same thing has happened at PlayStation, right? Jim Ryan was kicked out. Sean Layden was kicked out.
Yeah.
When that happened, how much excitement was there?
Not really. I mean, it's the same thing what happened with Shu. When Shuhei was sent down to do indies, people were bummed because he's an industry. Everyone in the industry loves Shuhei Yoshida, right? So they treated him like gum. Okay, go down over here. And then he comes out with, okay, I'm retiring because Sony wants me to retire. A lot of people were like pissed off over that.
Yep. And imagine they go get him. Like
I said that from the beginning. That's why I would have went out and got him in for Japan.
But like, that's a possibility, and that's the thing, right? It's like, you know what? To replace Sarah, we got Shuhei. Go make this thing insane. Okay, like that. What would that bring to the entire gaming world? Like, holy crap, right?
I got another one too. I got another one because this one I actually did a video on this, Dirt. I'm gonna and of course I have a few other things I want to add, and then we'll move on to the next topic. But who was Asha talking with on social media? Pictures were taken. Larry Herb.
Right.
Now, yes, he is working with is it in television? I think it is that he's working with right now. Yeah. He's like an advisor for them, but he could still come back to Xbox. And I literally went out there. I said that would be a really big deal. It'd be a great extension of your hand bringing him back because he's very popular with Xbox. It'd be a return to form. Bringing that guy in. But you know what? I have some quotes from her, Dirt, that I think is another reason why people should get excited or are continuing to get excited about the movement of where Xbox potentially is going to be for the remainder of this year and into next year. She stated that her intention, this is Asha, quote, return to the renegade spirit that built Xbox in the first place. Like, that is a strong statement, right? That is as strong as, we hear you about exclusives, but, Hargeet literally just took the words right out of my mouth. He also said, the plan is the plan until it's not the plan. Now, of course, everyone's going to have a different interpretation. And I'm getting goosebumps for this because I'm a big nerd and I love this kind of talk, which is why I'm here with you guys on a Wednesday evening because I love this shit. But Dirt, those three things were said in her first 48 hours as announced to take over for Phil. Those are powerful statements. And what has happened since? We've gotten the name of the hardware, Project Helix. We had Xbox. This is an Xbox completely vaporized. From Thursday evening to Friday morning's breakfast at Boom, it was breaking news. Holy shit, it's gone. And he's going to continue to do moves that are going to, all pile to make this big conversation. But this is why people are excited. Any additional thoughts? And we'll get, Hargeet's, and then we'll move on to the next topic.
I think you explained everything perfectly. The first 48 hours. And not only did some of the things she said get people excited, but like you said, she made some pretty big moves within a couple weeks.
Yep.
Listen, this is an Xbox. I immediately said this is some corny shit.
You did.
Right. But we made fun, we laughed at it. Yeah, that's an Xbox. This is an Xbox. This is an we made fun with it, but it was like, look, man, come on, bro. I mean, even though they're still doing that exact same thing, the marketing. Oh, I'm sorry. There's something outside here. The marketing tagline, this is an Xbox, had to go. And I think that's the first thing she said, we got to get rid of this. Let's go ahead and get the community excited. Let's get the community excited. Let's talk about Project Helix.
Yep.
Like you said earlier, it was on a random or Tuesday or Wednesday or what is it like? a Thursday in February, or was it March? No, yeah, March. A random Thursday in March. Let's talk about Project Helix. Let's and that right there got the community excited. So I'm excited to see what she does, man, because like you just said, Hargeet, this new regime, they had to kick out the old regime because something wasn't going right. I don't know what made them say, you know what, damn it, that's enough. Enough is enough. I don't know what triggered that. We don't know what triggered it. After 2 years, enough is enough. We got to change all of this. But something changed it. And we don't know, like you said, Hargeet, I don't know what she's going to do. We don't know. All we can do is sit back and wait and speculate, right? That's what we do on these podcasts, Boom. We speculate, right? We talk about rumors. We speculate things we hope that will happen, things we think that will happen. That's what we do. We speculate. But and Asha, right now, I'm just going to say, I'm just waiting patiently to see what happens next. So far, so good. I will say that. So far, so good.
That's a great way. That's a great way to put it. Hargeet, any additional thoughts on some of her commentary? And again, like I said, it's not just any one thing that she has done. I think it's the succession of how and what she's done. The naming of the Project Helix. Her first GDC, right? Obviously, the name, and I don't believe anything is accidental. Like you got to remember, when right before we found out that it was called Project Helix, we knew Jason Ronald was going to be there talking about the future of Xbox console. So it was specific. They didn't accidentally, I made a mistake and I gave it away. They did that on purpose. But prior to that, right, we knew that they had this incredible lineup of games. Right now, that wasn't her. But what was her is when she came in and her first 48 hours, she's making these big claims. And she's talking about the spirit of Xbox, returning to that. What was the spirit of Xbox? Exclusives. And she did that by simply saying, we hear you. And it got people excited. People right now are excited about the potential, not the definite, but the potential of exclusives coming back, powerful hardware. And you made mention of something. You said something that they would not have taken a loss on the consoles. I think we've all agreed that nobody wants to do that. But if you come out with a box that is a lot cheaper than a lot of people thought, and it is this open source box, and I've been banging this drum for quite a while. It's not the PlayStation gamers they're trying to get, folks. They're trying to get the low to mid range users of PC hardware who can't afford these 50-90 cards at a $4,000, right? But they can afford an Xbox or a Project Helix that is $800 or $1,000. And what if Project Helix is as good as a 5090? I mean, I don't know what it is going to be, but I'm just asking, what if it is?
Yeah. So, look, I think some of the things she initially said kind of push in certain directions. That's fair. As far as exclusivity, I don't know about that. But we will see. We will see. Like, so if June Showcase turns up and you start hearing that word again, exclusive, then something's changed, right? Because have you heard that lately? It's gone. In fact, now they have like PlayStation Switch logo in the freaking trailer.
Take them logos off of the shows, man. Take them logos off of Xbox.
That was the direction. It's fine. I don't care either way, whatever, right? So it really comes down to how do you market things to people so that they're enthusiastic to come to your platform, and that's for them to figure out. So I don't know that it's exclusivity that does it. If it's a great marketing team that just like demolishes every narrative out there by countering the narratives or creating their own narratives that demolish your competition. This is the stuff that made the Xbox so fun, along with, yes, there were some great franchises that were, owned by Xbox, but also the exclusives, they got third-party deals. Gears of War, right? That was not theirs. That was Epic.
Right.
Yes.
And they got that as an exclusive. It was supposed to supposed to just be temporary, a timed exclusive. But then they're like, nah, it's too good. We're just buying it. And so they just made it theirs, right? Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1 exclusive until I don't even know if it ever came out until like the legendary edition came out. That it came to came to PlayStation. Like
that was the only time, when it released so when they released Mass Effect 2, PlayStation got like this is what happened before. Like they didn't get the game.
Exactly. They didn't get to
recap.
play that game. That was an exclusive. And what an exclusive.
What an exclusive.
Like one of the top premier franchises. It's like in the top 5 for me of games, period, right?
Xbox should have bought BioWare when they had the chance, man.
Damn right they should have.
And you know the reason they couldn't, right? Is because of the stupid litigation. They were under Microsoft, not Xbox, but Microsoft was under the regulatory headache of Internet Explorer and Windows.
Okay.
And so
I
they
didn't know
couldn't
that.
buy anybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
What? Oh my God! Just how horrible! And EA picked them up.
Yeah, picked them up. Yeah.
Right, and they had all these games from them, KOTOR and Jade Empire, and this was the next. Like, dude, and it's all Xbox. All of it was exclusive Xbox. Oh, anyway, yeah, they should have absolutely 100% bought that freaking team, and whatever. That's a whole other story. But yeah, so they had that, right, and there were other games like that exclusive. That's true. But I don't know if that is, the path now. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if the numbers work. I don't know any of that, right? They could just do what Sony's doing and just make it look like they're exclusive. They could also say that campaign mission, that's only available on our side. They used to do this with COD. Remember, COD used to have exclusive shit for just Xbox. Then they let it go in 2015, 14.
2014,
COD?
2015.
Yeah,
was the first
yeah,
one.
that's when the Xbox One released. Yeah.
What are you
backed off on the
thinking?
marketing. Ridiculous.
So they let go of that marketing, and like that shifted to PlayStation. It became like the PlayStation place was the place to play COD now, because all the exclusive crap went there. And you're like, oh, why would you do that? That was like your cash cow. What were you thinking? Anyway, they did that.
They had a choice.
It may not have been. It may not have been a choice, but it was.
I think the PS4 was dominating.
Right? Xbox was selling until they got rid of that.
Yeah.
That was the year it stopped.
Well, to be fair, like early in the Xbox One gen, the PS4 started to dominate. And when the Call of Duty license came, marketing came up. Initially, but by the time 2015 hit, I think the PS4 was starting to.
That's when the COD marketing switched to.
That's when it went to PlayStation.
Immediately went
and
that way
until Xbox bought them.
Exactly, right. And is the marketing that much better for Xbox now? I mean, I still see more association of COD with PlayStation, even though it's owned by Xbox.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And I'm like, okay, like, and I understand regulatory things, whatever, but it's like, okay, enough with the kumbaya. Make that yours.
Absolutely.
Like everything that comes out of it, make it look like it's Xbox. It'll
agree.
Fully be available on PlayStation, no problem. But don't make it look like it's a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
Make it look like an Xbox game. That's something they need to have the gumption to just say, yes, it's ours. And they literally spent $80 billion buying all these studios. Make it yours. Show them it's yours. Right. So I don't know, like that part of it, they need to kind of just come out and do that. And it really is how do you market it? And like you said, they're still doing the same things. You're right. You just don't have to tell people. Don't buy our stuff. Go over there.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Hargeet, you're 100% right. 100% right, man.
Right. So that's what it is. And so I think if they shift the marketing, I still think they're still doing exclusives. Remember, they put out more exclusives last year than PlayStation did.
Yes.
But they're timed. A lot of it's timed.
Yeah.
And okay, you know what? Who cares? If it's timed, at least you have something. Some of them, I just say, you don't have to bring them over. Like, do we think South of Midnight is going to sell a bazillion copies on PlayStation?
No, it's not. It didn't even move.
You know what?
It didn't do anything on Xbox. And it was a fantastic game.
So you know what?
It was a fantastic
awesome.
Just take that as this is the stuff we make with our Game Pass revenue, and this is a great game that gets to be made because we have Game Pass. Awesome. Just let it go that way, and that way you don't have to. So you can just say that will never go, right? It will. Obviously, it's already coming out. I think in a month or two, whatever, it's coming out. Fair enough, right? But they don't have to do that. So they could just say those kind of games, they're not going to go over there. Maybe there's games that they make sense to go over there. Things like, you have Elder Scrolls Online. You're never going to take that away. It's already there, right? Fallout 70, you're not going to take that away. Overwatch, you're not going to take that away. You might say those kind of games, just go. But there's got to be games you keep to yourself. Fair, fine. It's always going to be a PC, obviously, right? So I don't know, because I don't necessarily care about the exclusivity. I care about Game Pass. That's my thing. I also understand I may be a very different gamer than the vast majority, right? So for them, it's much more about, why am I here versus there? That's fine. So if that's the case, they have to make the pitch. And I don't know if exclusivity is it, or it's just making the right pitch, the right marketing, the right messaging, right? They don't have to make it so that you announce your games in other people's freaking showcases, which they do, right? You get a Nintendo showcase that has Xbox game, Xbox. Like, okay, you have a PlayStation, here's an Xbox game, like, okay. All right, you could just say, no, we're only putting them on our showcase. It's going to have our logos. And then, if you want to buy them, they're I don't know, we might put them over there. Then maybe, but that's not something you have to like totally advertise. That alone would just shift things, right? Because people would just associate. How many people get fooled by that? They do. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but they do get fooled by it. It happens, right? So if that's all it takes, do it. The other thing, just a simple thing. Right now, we're under the assumption, because that's what we seem to hear out there, is that GTA has marketing rights with PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Just the marketing rights alone is going to make people think that's a PlayStation game.
100%.
They could go in and say
it happened with Hogwarts. Yeah,
here's double. Give it to me. One of the topics you had here is about like the interview with Zelnick, right? Walk over, Asha, and go say, well, how much do they pay for you for that marketing? Yeah, I'll pay you more. How much do you want? And I want some exclusive content. You just do that, because now you get to put the exclusive branding on all the marketing.
That'll be so expensive. That will probably cost what Bethesda you spent for Bethesda.
Well, maybe it's $1 billion or $2 billion for the marketing, right? Fine, whatever. The question is, if you want to bring your brand back, is Microsoft in invest mode, or is Microsoft in I still want 20%? Because if you're in I want 20%, yeah, you're not going to get it back. You need to be in invest mode and say, no, I want to fix this brand, right? And then that means I'm going to invest. I'm going to spend, right? And I think that was kind of the message that was like miscommunicated as blank check. It's not blank check. It's, hey, if there's a strategic thing we need to do, we're going to do it, right? Because we want to bring the brand back, right? That's how I would read that messaging. And so that's between Asha and Satya to figure out, like, okay, well, do these things strategically align, right? If we had to go into this market, what would we do? All right, let's go do these things, right? Go do it, right? You have bank. That's the beauty of this, right? Microsoft can bring it back. And when you hear the CEO, like, Satya still saying, no, we're in this, right? We're all in on gaming. We're still in this. So, and he's looking for the next 25 years, not the next 3 years. So, okay, if you're in for, so then go make strategic decisions. Go figure out how you're going to bring that back. You have a golden opportunity. Right now it's with Sony, and you say, oh, okay, does that mean it's ironclad? Oh, it can't be taken away? Well, we've seen things like that happen all the time, right? Games that were supposed to be coming out everywhere, suddenly they're not coming out.
They're just not.
Platforms, Xbox.
Yep.
And right. And then you had marketing with games that were showcased on an Xbox showcase, and then suddenly they're showing up on a PlayStation showcase.
Yeah.
Oh, well, right. So this stuff does not have to be written in gold. It's not done. You can, here's a bigger bag. And Microsoft has a very, 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 very large bag of money. And they can just come up and say, no, I want that. Bring it here. Again, just show me if they really want to go down this path. Plenty of things they can do, even beyond exclusivity. Just exclusive content, little bits here and there. Bring up the marketing, tune it up a bit. There you go. Go after your competition instead of going with your competition, right? That was kind of the thing they were doing. It's a kumbaya thing. It's like, okay, no, go after them.
Yep.
I mean, that to me is the formula. And I would say it might be cool to have exclusives, but I really do think some of these smaller games, I think it's a waste of time. I don't think they're going to get much out of it putting on other platforms. Some games it might work. Like Kiln, I think would work on a Switch. I think it would just, it fits that like that audience. Put it there. I don't care. That's fine, right? But some of these games, bringing them over, what does it even do for you? So I don't care to do that. The big one's Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the one that I would make exclusive.
I don't see a reason to bring it over. Now, is it going to go over? I mean, I would love to see that just be an exclusive at this point. It's like whatever, but I don't care about exclusives if it's going to hurt Game Pass, right? So whichever way they want to go, like as long as you keep my Game Pass, if you can reduce the price of my Game Pass, please, that would be good.
I mean,
reduce the price of the consoles.
There's been talk about the potential of removing the paywall and reverting Game Pass in price back down to $20. So it would be merged with PC Game Pass, which is I think $18, and that would go up to $20. So it'd be $20 across the board, and it would be a $2 increase for PC, which I don't know if they want to do because PCs they're making like really big gains there. But if you were to remove the paywall.
But to be fair, you gain Ubisoft, you gain
that's true. You do gain a lot of stuff. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
If they start adding some of their other subscriptions that are more PC, like WoW, for instance, if they start adding more of these PC centric things, okay, that might actually be worth it, right? Because then you're giving them an all in one bundle. It might be worth it, like a couple of bucks. Okay, but I'm adding all this for you.
Yeah, I mean, Jez Corden did a story where he said that they the plan, or at least Asha, from what he heard, Asha's plan was to add value to Game Pass, right? And that value was going to be WoW. It was going to be Minecraft Worlds, I think it is, that they have. And there was that there's a mode in Fallout 76 that if you don't want to play multiplayer, you can literally pay monthly and it's closed just to you and the friends that you invite. So it would literally be like a single player. I think I don't know if it's called Fallout Worlds or something like that. But if they added those three things to Xbox Game Pass as perks, like they did with the Fortnite Club Crew thing, that it doesn't mean anything to me because I don't play Fortnite, but if they did add those, it would potentially bring WoW players over because they wouldn't have to just pay for WoW. They would be paying for Game Pass, and they would get WoW, and that would bring more people over to the streaming service. Again, there are a lot of things that they could do, but honestly, after everything that we just did, and we spent over an hour and 15 minutes kind of just talking about it, I think it's safe to say that the excitement in the Xbox community is back in a super really big way. I think that if you just look, I don't see that ceasing in any way, right? They've made some big leadership changes. They're in place, right? Matt Booty is still there. Matt Booty is I actually think Matt Booty is the wild card here, because he is the one that is. First of all, I've met everyone. I mean, literally every C-level executive except for him. He's the only one that I've never met. Now, I don't think he's avoiding me, to be honest with you. I just haven't had an opportunity. But when I call him the wild card, I say that because in the court documents, he has an email where he said, let's spend Sony out of business. Now, I don't know if that's why he remained. And honestly, I don't think it's just that. He has an incredible relationship with all of the studios. Everyone knows Matt Booty, and that's what his job was. And look, I'm sure that the spend out of business thing might have something to do with it, but he is ultimately the wild card because he doesn't really speak a lot.
Right.
I mean, the last time he did speak, it was somebody overheard him saying, we have so many games, we know where to put them. And that happened to be in a year they had no games. So it wound up being a negative story, right? Like that was in 2021. And what he said all those years ago has come to fruition because they literally have so many games, they don't know where to freaking put them. Right. But look, I know I had a bunch of other topics, but this one topic kind of really it was too good to walk away from. I'm going to catch up on super chats. We're going to do outros. We can get everyone out of here because the show only really runs about 90 minutes. And I told Dirt it would only be about 90 minutes. Tomorrow at 12, we're coming back, X-Vlog Live. And of course, Friday morning, Breakfast with Boom. My nephew is going to open and close the show because, he's interning with me because he's taking a class in school for podcasting. I can't believe that's an actual thing in high school. But in 2026, guess what it is? So his uncle his Theo happens to be a podcaster. So, he's interning with me. So he's going to open and close the show. But let me just catch up on super chats, and then we'll get to outros. Adidas 20. Salute to you, kind sir.
That's the homie, man. That's the homie.
That is absolutely the homie for sure. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, salute to the three homies. Hargeet, my olive theme. There it is. There is the olives theme. The best one is the one that's raining olives. I got to be honest with you. I know that you have that handy, but that one is there it is. It's terrifying, ladies and gentlemen. It's raining olives. And of course, that is for C Money, who hates olives or actually loves olives. We don't know. Maybe he changed his tune. But see, this next one, I'm going to read it because I'm good friends. I consider to be with Dirk Griggity. So otherwise, I know he won't be offended. So Skywalker in the chat. And of course, he's always in your chat. He says, hey, Boom, Hargeet, and Chocolate Shrek. Hope you guys are doing okay. Skywalker. Now, you get bullied on your own show, Dirt, on a regular basis.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to say, man.
It's not right, folks, as I will say that. Gamer by Choice drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Hargeet, are you saying spend them out of business? I mean, look, what I can say to that question, and I'll let Hargeet answer. I'm just going to give you my quick answer. My quick answer is, Hargeet said it already. They have the bank, man. They have the wallet. If you want to really put the screws to Sony, you can do that. And I actually think they're going to do that with the hardware. I think this open source box kind of really, I think it caught Sony off guard. I don't know if anyone's ever going to admit that, but the fact, and I think, Dirt, you said it on one of your shows, that you believe that the change in ideology of pulling back from PC was because of Project Helix. I think you're right when you said that.
Yeah. I think so. And the Steam machine. I think the Steam machine also.
Yeah, I think
because that's a console experience, right? Even though it's a PC, but it's a console experience. Sitting in front of your sofa. I mean, sitting on your sofa in front of your TV. That's a console experience. And PlayStation, look, man, they don't want people to play their games in a console setting that's not on a PlayStation device. That's just my opinion.
And that's actually what got them in trouble in the UK right now, that they're being sued, right? There's, Hargeet had made mention of it about this pricing. If you are someone that spends a lot of money in the PlayStation ecosystem, make sure you check your prices, because your price is going to be higher. They're actually doing that. And something, the CFO said they were going to lean on their players to make up for the RAM problems. This is what it is. What was it called, Hargeet? Something pricing?
It's dynamic pricing.
Dynamic pricing. My God. Yeah. But you know what? Who's not talking about dynamic pricing? All of the games media. They just completely that's all right. It's Sony. They're let them do what they want. It's fine. It's fine.
It's pretty annoying. I don't know. And then they have it locked with the lawsuit you mentioned with the UK, right? Somebody sued them and said, hey, you took away our ability to buy on sites like you mentioned, ENEBA or Loaded. You used to be able to buy codes for PlayStation games. They took that away. And so it's like you're locked to their digital store, and they're going to charge you variable prices depending on who you are, right? That's ridiculous. But we'll see how that works out, and maybe there'll be laws made to say you can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just the whole thing stinks, and the fact
But
you
yeah, as
can't
far
buy
as
it
the spread
anywhere
them out of
else.
business, yeah, that was the quote, and I think he put that in basically to comment on what I was saying about the Matt Booty thing,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, literally that's what Matt Booty said. Like, we have the opportunity to spend Sony out of business, and that came out of the court leaks, right? The court,
Yeah.
whatever.
They should do it. But listen, Sparks by 1992 drops a very generous $10 super chat and says Xbox really never went off like they should have when they acquired ABK. They should have utilized the deal to the fullest. Exclusivity should have been the strategy used as soon as the deal was finalized. I mean, there was a lot of regulatory pressure, so that's probably why they didn't do it, but I think they could get back to it in some form or fashion. Especially because they're in third place. They are losing. But we'll see what happens, man. I think new leadership is going to bring some new old ideas back, and that's why I'm excited. I cannot actually wait to see what Asha and the new team does. Yeah. Green Blood Network. Oh, I love it. Drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "What's up, Boom? Here to show love and support to the homie Dirk Riggedy, the Xbox Pod Father. Oh, I like that. WBG TTS fam in the building. We bleed green. Salute to Hargeet. The energy is back up in the community." Yeah, I believe it is.
Shout out to Green Blood, man. That's the homie, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so thank you so much for the generosity, brother, and great to have you here as always. Brett Bingham drops not one but two $5 super chats and says this: "Same shit, different day. Xbox rising from the grave every week like the Undertaker on WWE." That's absolutely correct. His second one says Asha should just hire Shuhei Yoshida to do all of the third-party deals in Asia. Imagine how closely Japan would start following Xbox, then lock him in, Asha. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it was a Primetime Gaming when he became a free agent. Mm-hmm. I said the first thing they should have done is hired him for Japan. If you want to win Japan, you're not going to walk in there as Daddy Microsoft. You're going to lose. But if you would have walked in there partnered with Shuhei Yoshida, which is absolutely loved by the entire freaking industry, but even more so in Japan, my God, people would have lined up, especially, you didn't even have to go crazy because, they have a big indie push, but man, he would have been one heck of an olive branch for that region of the world if you would have hired him. I mean, who's to say it won't happen, but it would be pretty dope if it did, because first of all, it would set the interwebs on fire if he announced that he was with Xbox. Oh my God, that would be a story for the entire year. But yeah, good stuff all around. We have Lorian Black in the chat, says after dropping a very generous, I believe it's a $5 super chat. He says Xbox marketing Sakara 2027 can't afford a gaming PC. Here's a gaming PC plus an Xbox console in one package for less than the price of a gaming PC. I mean, you see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I think people are misunderstanding the direction of Xbox. They're not trying to convert PlayStation players. PlayStation players are where they are. They're the normies. They're the casuals. They equate for about 90%, maybe even I'll even go a little lower. 85% of PlayStation 5 sales are the casuals. They're going to play games where they're going to play games. They're not going to buy an Xbox. But there are over 900 million, and I'm lowballing the number, PC players. And through the stats I've talked about numerous times, 90+% of those players are playing on low to mid-range hardware, and they're 3 series cards. They're 2 series cards. They're playing in 1080p. You put out a console that's an Xbox and a PC, and it's got power, and it's got the price. Instead of people buying their next PC, their pre-built, they'll buy an Xbox. And you might say, no, Boom, they're never going to convert. You're wrong. You're wrong, because Xbox doesn't need the 900 million to convert. You know what they need of that 900 million? 1%. They need 1% to convert and I think they might because it's going to be an open source box, but we'll see. Miracle on Ice 2.0 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says Xbox says something about AI and it's World War III, but all I've been seeing is everyone worshiping PSSR 2.0. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's what they wanted it to be from inception, and it took them a long time to get here, to get there. And listen, it's done some really good things, especially with Resident Evil 9. It looks really, really good. But is it good enough for me to buy one? No, I have a PlayStation 5 regular, and that's what I have. Mac City Entertainment drops a very generous $5 super chat. It says, "Great show, great conversation, Boom. Thank you so much, Dirt and Hargeet. I respect everyone's stance, but exclusivity is dead. Game Pass should have all of the value, Podfellas." I mean, you're not wrong. That is ultimately and has been. Yeah, you want to say something, Dirt?
Yeah, it's one thing. Sometimes we have to, think like a business. Sometimes, I know, that's something that we don't really do, but maybe something I absolutely love Game Pass, man. But
So
maybe
do I.
Game Pass isn't growing how they want it to. Do you ever think about that, bro? And they're not going to keep on doing it if it's not growing how they want it to. I mean, that sometimes the truth is something you don't want to hear, but I'm just saying something. I mean, I'm just think about it. Just think about it. So
Listen, I don't know if they ever roll, like reverse engines, because that would be devastating. Because I've always said as a retired guy, because I don't do this for the put the roof over our head. I do this for fun. That's why I
Right.
do it. That's why you do it, Dirt. That's why Arkeet does
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
But
I'm no grifter.
I no
I'm no grifter.
grifters here, brother.
I have a full-time job. I'm no, don't these guys out here that's doing stuff just for money. No.
Yeah. So
passion.
again, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But Mac City Entertainment drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and says, "Love and peace to all the guys. Stay blessed, brother. Thank you so much for the blessings. You as well, you and your family." But let's get everyone out of here. And Dirk Griggity, brother, listen, I have said this publicly. I have an opportunity to say it right to your face, and I'm very happy and proud to do it. You are one of my favorite podcasters.
Thank you,
I
man.
think what you do on a daily basis with the community is something that needs to be commended. If you're not subscribed to Dirt, you're doing it wrong, folks. The whole TTS movement started there. We Bleed Green podcast. Joey, Ray, Sean, yourself. You bring it each and every day, every week that you guys do a show. And the One Man Dark Man is just nothing short of amazing, because you do interact with the community. Remember, I had asked you, I said, "My God, how do you talk for a freaking hour?" And you're like, "Yeah, I just get the community involved." And as long as I was a podcaster, I would, but I just never had, I hate to say this, the stamina to talk solo without, bouncing off somebody. So the work that you do is incredible. The videos you do are great. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't do the console war, but I live through you and your guys, because it's fun, it's engaging. Brother, sell the brand. And I know you don't have to, but you're going to sell it here. Tell everyone where they can subscribe to your YouTube channel, but more importantly, follow you on social media.
Well, Boom, thanks for the kind words, man. I truly appreciate it. And I know everybody's not comfortable doing the console war stuff. That's why you have guys like me, guys like Sean, Joey, Ray, like Mr. 100 is in the chat. I mean, everybody's not comfortable with it, but hey, man, like you said, you want to live your console war through me. That's absolutely fine, man. Because I can't stand these damn PlayStation fanboys out here. I tell you. But thank you guys. Listen, if you don't mind console war content, of course, I'm Pro Xbox. Check out my channel, Dirt Griggity, and on Twitter, I'm at Griggity. Griggity, and thank you guys very much for inviting me on, man. Appreciate it. Hey, Mac City, let me say something, Mac City. He said that's what Xbox fans want, talking about Game Pass, and I love Game Pass, but it's a business, bro. Never forget that. It's a business. All right.
I mean, look, the reason why they went third party is so they could keep Game Pass around. I know, Dirt, you have said on the last show that maybe some games get taken out of Game Pass. Maybe
I don't want that. I don't want that at
I
all.
personally don't want that because look, I listen, folks. You know, I said it in the beginning of the show, and I'll say it again. I'm a transparent dude. I'm a retired police officer. I have a great pension. I really do.
Mhm.
But you know the difference of what milk and cream cheese and bread costs on 2026 versus when I retired back in 2014. It's a shit ton of a difference,
Right.
and you have to figure out. I mean, look, I don't know about. I've never had an instance where the electric bill or cable bill or car payment wasn't paid because I bought a collector's edition of whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not that kind of a guy. Everything
Right.
gets paid, and what's left is what's left. But that's why I really like Game Pass because it does give
It's
me
fantastic. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I buy more games now with Game Pass than I've ever done before because I'm not buying the games on Game Pass.
Right. You're saving money. Yeah, you're saving money. So I hope it doesn't go anywhere. Or change
change in any way that's detriment to what they do.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Absolutely. But hey, Hargeet, brother, let's sell your brand because I think a lot of people forget the fact that you actually have a YouTube channel, and it's a pretty damn good one. And if I remember, you have the record. You're the record holder with the video you put up that we were all ass and seat for. Me, you, Kay Asante, Ains, the whole crew, the whole Xbox crew was ass and seat for the reveal of Gears of War E-Day, and your video has I don't know, did it pass 100,000?
I don't know. I haven't looked in a while, but it was definitely up in the 80s. It did pretty well.
1,000 views.
Nice.
Jesus Christ! So look, he does content. Of course, he's on everyone's podcast. He works with Fonz. He works with me. He works with C Money and Doodle. But sell the brand, brother. Tell everyone where they can find you in other shows, but more importantly, let's talk about your your YouTube channel where they can subscribe.
Yeah. By the way, it's at 91 right now. But anyway,
91,000 freaking views. Jesus Christmas, that is amazing.
Yeah, so my channel is Hargeet Channi 1 on YouTube, and if you want to pick up my book, you can check out shop.channi.us. I have some merch up there as well, including the nice ones for Make Xbox Great Again. And
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Check those out. I'll be on Friday with C Money and Doodle, 8ish p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. On Point for Gamers. I'll be on with Web Dave. Hopefully not as much controversy this time, but Sunday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Check that out. I'll be on with Fonz. Hopefully next week I'll be traveling for work, but hopefully next week both this show and Fonz on Tuesday and Wednesday I should be available. Hopefully I'll be on Tuesday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. So check those out. But yeah, and then next Friday is this, or I think it starts on Thursday, but it's PAX East.
Yes.
So I will be at PAX.
That's in your hometown. I've been to PAX about 6 times. It's amazing. I've been there in a couple of years.
Yep. So I'll be at PAX, and then so I don't know if I'll be doing the show with Simon and Doodle. That might not happen. We'll see. But yeah, I'll be on PAX at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I might come back on for Web Day, but yeah, we'll see what goes on. But yeah, so we'll check out what happens, and I'm sure there'll be more fun news coming. We just got the drop for Crimson Desert today with the reviews. Seems to be a hit or miss for a lot of people, but we'll see what happens.
Look, I'm gonna have to fly out to New Zealand. That's why I can't make a longer podcast. I got to go get that game. I am very excited for that game. I'm excited, but I'm terrified because I get lost in those games, and it's all I play, and it's a game that you're gonna get lost in because it's not traditionally an RPG. You have to find these runes to level yourself up. So I'm gonna be hunting for these runes here, there, and everywhere. But look, ladies and gentlemen, we had almost 600 people here today, and I think that's because we had Dirt on, because obviously he brings, like the Steelers, they travel really well. You know what I'm saying? The fans travel really well, and I can't thank enough. If you're not already subscribed, folks, we are a pinch under 300 from 17K. That's a really big deal. We're still a very small channel, and we do it the old mom and pop way, right? Like, I'm making videos out of these shows. I'm trying to do the advertising. Mrs. Boom does all of the stuff in the background that no one knows. Like, she sets up the prizes. She sets up the events that when we do the big giveaways. She does all the stuff that is very tedious because she's super smart, and I'm the host. So it's only two of us that do this. and we're still considered incredibly small. So if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing, because this is our 8th year. We are on the cusp of 8.5 million views in 8 years.
Nice.
Nice.
That's thank you guys. That is averaging more than 1 million views per year for the size of the channel. That's just insane. But also, we do syndicated 5 shows a week, Monday through Friday, and we do breaking news stuff because I'm retired. So when something breaks, I jump right to the mic and I go. You like that kind of content, or you can't stay for a 90-minute show? I cut these videos down, and I actually learned a lot from watching Dirt. The way he brings up the articles. I started doing that in the last couple of videos, and they've been hitting really, really well. So watching Dirt do it all those years, when he brings up, other people that he dunks on, which he should, because some of those people are real a-holes.
They deserve it.
They absolutely deserve the POS of the week. And as a matter of fact, that's still my favorite segment in podcasting is POS of the week. It's
funny. And like every week with POS of the week starts, numbers go up a little bit.
Of course, because it's the best. It's the best segment in podcasting. Are you kidding me? But look, it's great. It's so awesome.
Hargeet was on, like he joined us on like POS, on POS of the week last Monday.
Yeah, I remember. That's right. That's when the whole controversy. But look, ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you to all super chats.
There's a member chat.
Okay, hold on. Let me get to it. Hold on. Let me get to that member chat. We do have a member chat here. Yes, it's Spartan661. What's up, brother? Great to see you here. He's been a channel member, ladies and gentlemen, for 31 months. That is insane generosity, brother. Thank you so much for that. He goes, thanks for all the great shows and panel members, Mr. BoomStick XL. Well, brother, thank you for tuning in, because, again, look, what we do is not guaranteed. I say this all the time. YouTube is vast, and there's a lot of talent here. And having an audience that tunes in is not a guarantee. You could literally be talking into the ether and get 3 people to watch your show: your mom, your brother, and maybe your cat. And that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what could actually happen. And you could be as smart as sharp as a tack. But again, that's why we never take anything for granted. That's why we keep grinding. That's why we keep doing what we do. But a big thank you once again to everybody. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. He'd say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends.